Be paranoid for doing this, but I'm nuking the fish room.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
How's it going? Hope you guys are doing okay. If not, I hope tomorrow's better for you. Today I wanted to show you guys what's going on in my fish room. I mean, it could be better for me, but it is what it is. This is what I'm doing, and I wanted to show you guys what all's going on. So, as you saw from the title, it's looking a little nuclear here. And as you can see here, this stuff's gnarly. Now, to give you guys an idea of where I'm coming from as I film this, I actually just got done working 39 hours straight cleaning these fish tanks. Head down into the tanks, getting it clean, getting it done, just so I can do this, and it hasn't been easy. But yeah, so 39 hours straight and only about 4 hours of sleep because my son, he got up bright and early, so I had 4 hours of sleep in the last 72 hours. I'm not complaining about it. Just wanted to let you guys know, so that's why I may be fumbling around on my words a little bit, maybe repeating myself in this video. But I at least wanted to bring you guys something, and why I didn't do it on Sunday. I'm happy about it. All this work getting done. Super stoked about it. I haven't been excited about this fish room in a long time. And I couldn't have done this without the water change system too. So that's playing a big factor. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy this. And I hope you guys learn something too as well. So let's do this. Oh, and you can see how late it is now. Tanks are already shutting off on me. To explain it a little more, gotta give you a little backstory on this. So many of you guys know I haven't really been selling much lately. I've got so many people asking me for shrimp, plants, all kinds of stuff. Well, a couple months ago, I had an issue with some of my angels that died, a pair of my angels, and this arowana, it actually ended up jumping out of the tank though, and then after it jumped, its immune system must have weakened up, and then it led for infections to come in, killed them, and it was a very sad, unfortunate event. Well, during this, I did a live stream about columnaris, wondering if it was columnaris that got to him, because a lot of these diseases can be really hard to identify. There's a lot of common symptoms that could lead to something else, that can lead to another thing. And somebody pointed out in that live stream, actually a few of you guys did, that it wasn't any columnaris or anything like that, but they did see flukes in the water. Now, it hasn't really been an issue for any of my tanks, and as far as I know, any of these issues may lead to the garage. Well, just better safe than sorry. I'm nuking the whole fish room. As you can see, like, all these tanks are green right now. Which, I mean, it's not cheap, but it's necessary. This way, I can sleep better at night. I don't have to worry about putting my hand in any tanks and it contaminating another tank. It'll make life easier and less of a headache later down the road to treat all the tanks. But I'll show you guys what that is here in a second. What actually made me confirm that it was flukes as well and I was having issues with it was I was having a lot of issues with snail deaths. And what would happen, you can see there's some empty shells here. What would happen is, like, the snails would almost look like they were coming out of there and it was getting all white and fungusy. So the flukes attach themselves to snails and they that's how they reproduce. Snails are big carriers of the fluke. Love how these dwarf neons look in here though. Look really cool. Now this stuff looks pretty cool when you actually pour it into the tank. Now this tank has a lot of reflection because I hung my light here. I need to get something black for over it, but we're dealing with it for now, what it looks like. Yeah, it's really neat when you pour this stuff in here. It just turns everything green. It's kind of wild. It just looks nuclear. Looks like something you shouldn't be dumping in a tank. But I've used this stuff before, works really great. I've actually already went around in the fish room with this stuff. Like, I tried all kinds of different meds. I don't run any filters on any of my tanks, but I still got this one I haven't stuck in the graveyard. You can see it's pretty old. But anyways, a lot of these LED lights, they'll have this blue switch on it, so this stuff looks even cooler under these blue lights.
The truth is, I've never
Bass.
And now you've got yourself something funky.
Smoke on the water. Almost looks like a highlighter underneath a black light. Pretty wild stuff. Like, I don't know, probably the coolest medicine I've ever dosed. That's for sure. Just to show you it's not a filter. These are all the regular tanks. So cool. I didn't think I'd ever use those blue lights for anything. Now, I wanted to do this video for you guys on Sunday on a live stream, but I thought that there's more to discuss and it would have been harder to do on a live stream and trying to remember everything I wanted to talk to you guys about the whole situation. So I decided to go ahead and do more of an edited version and give you guys a little extra to it. This is what this stuff is. It's Ruby Reef Rally. They also make this stuff called Kick Ick, which works great in combination with each other. Now, a reason why I chose this was the fact that it is safe for inverts and plants, so it's completely harmless. It doesn't hurt. I haven't had any issues with glass cats. I haven't had any issues with my shrimp, snails. I used it a long time ago. I actually first discovered this stuff a couple years back, not last year but the year before at the Aquatic Experience. They had a booth down there. I had an ick problem at the time in a 180-gallon tank, tons of fish. It was the one that was full of Anubias that ended up springing a leak. Well, I used it back then, worked great for ick, so I know the stuff works and it was safe. It's not the cheapest, but hey, it works. And it's hard to find stuff that's actually invert and plant safe, you know. Style I keep my fish room, that's very important to me as far as medication. Before I start dosing all this, I went through and cleaned all my tanks up. Now, as far as getting the tanks cleaned and prepped and ready, I scraped off all this stuff, the calcium that builds up. The reason why you don't see it in here is I just haven't scraped up in here yet, and I was just kind of doing these for show for now. But I'll also thin this out a little bit, the guppy grass. That way the meds can get in better and not have so much to cover. Pretty simple, but it just takes time when you got so many tanks, picking out algae, scraping that stuff. And I'll also go around and clean the top of the edges too. This is all hard water buildup, but it comes off pretty easily. And the harder stuff you could use vinegar to get it off. Not a lot of water changes were actually getting done, so I had to play catch up. Tanks really needed to be cleaned out. So saying that, this is like the full regimen of what I'm doing. As far as nuking the whole fish room, I'm going ahead and doing double rounds, repeat rounds of this Fluke medicine. This stuff's also great for velvet and a few other things. But I'm definitely going to treat it twice just to make sure. I'd rather be safe than sorry in case it didn't completely get it taken care of. On the bottle it says it treats for external bacterial infections, gill flukes, flagellated parasites, marine velvet. Treats 100 to 200 gallons. This is a half gallon of Ruby Reef. It's got the directions there. It takes 3-4 days. 6 if you really want to make sure. Prolonged treatment, all that. And yeah, this stuff works pretty good. Now they do make in 5-gallon container and 2.5-gallon container, which I actually need more than that. I've got more coming on the way. Now these 5 gallons are a little harder to operate. Like it would be hard just to get an ounce of here. You can see I made a little bit of a mess, but I've just been funneling it in my bottles. Luckily I had some of these laying around, hence the goggles. That's what I was using the goggles for, because I didn't want this to get in my eyes. Granted, it probably wouldn't have hurt me, but better safe than sorry. Now, in combination of that rally, I'm going ahead and treating it with this Kick Ick, which is for ick and other like protozoan, like cyst types. So there's probably a few types of ick and you start seeing small little specks. That's not always Daphnia, so this can help with that as well. Treats 160 gallon and definitely works best in combination with that rally. You can see here it takes up to 13 days, actually up to 16 days is what the guy told me, because you want to leave the meds in there for a few days afterwards just to make sure they're going, and you got to double do it if it's a real heavy infection and from 2 weeks from the last time you see a white spot. So granted, saying this takes 2 weeks, you can still do water changes. He said just do the water change right before you dose it again for the next dosing round. Love these mascara barbs. I wish this tank didn't have so much reflection, drives me nuts. Hi. I just got done talking to the head guy, and you see here where these tanks are all green. I noticed that in some of these tanks, like this one's a lot clearer than the other ones. He said if it has really good biological filtration, it won't hold the meds as well, and the biological filtration and bacteria in there will actually clean the tank quicker. So that's a sign that you should dose some more in there just to make sure. And this is what I've been measuring it with, since it has ounces on it. I think Aquarium Co-op may have shipped that to me. I thought I'd never use it, but there you go, I finally using it. Now after I get done treating for all these flukes, I'm going to go back and I'm going to treat it with some of this API tetracycline TC. Which you can see this tank's a little reddish. It's got that TC in it, tetracycline, which looks really cool on the red Metallica Phoenix crypt. And you can see there's still kind of a green haze in there from the rally, because the rally and Kikik's still in there. I'm leaving it in there for now just to keep the meds in there, because how it works is it works off like fulls of it being in the tank. So while it's still in the tank, it's still working, and it won't hurt anything to have it in there for a prolonged time. Now after treating the first round of this stuff, I noticed some of the tanks getting kind of cloudy, look like bacterial blooms, and was causing me some issues. I think the flukes or something in the water was eating the bacteria up, and now that they were gone, it was causing me issues. So tetracycline will help combat that. Now I am also planning on using this just in case. I'd rather be safe than sorry. And I want this fish room to just be as clean as possible, but at the same time still have microorganisms in there for the fish and stuff like that. I just want all the dirty stuff out for now, because I haven't had anything coming in for a while. I'm planning a new quarantine section. I'm going to show you guys that here in this video. And yeah, I want to sleep better at night knowing that everything's clean. I don't want to give anybody any like diseases or anything like that just because it makes life easier. Like, I don't want somebody coming back to me later like, hey, this happened because of this, and know that I did that. Like, that deters people from the hobby, and that's the last thing I want to do, is deter people from this hobby, because it's such a zen-full hobby, and I think everybody should have a tank. The world would be a lot better place if they did. We'd have a lot more peace, that's for sure. Now, after the tetracycline, I'm thinking about going ahead and dosing it with some erythromycin as well. That is also a broad spectrum of bacterial infection. This one has mouth fungus on it and treats some other ones that the TC doesn't. Now I haven't tried this on any of my tanks yet, but Corey from Aquarium Co-op says it's safe for plants and shrimps. I may give this a try afterwards as well, just to, like I said, be better safe than sorry and just help me sleep at night. And boy, I tell you guys what, I haven't been excited about this fish room in a long time, because fish room will actually dictate my mood, and if these tanks aren't happy, I'm not happy. They definitely kind of a reflection on me. And after the bacteria stuff, I am probably going to go ahead and treat it too with Pimifig, which treats all fungal fish infections. So big spring cleaning, everything's getting all cleaned up and treated for pretty much everything. I didn't have any issues with any customers as far as this, but I did want to nip it in the butt before it did happen, because like I said, it can deter people, and I'm still more of a hobbyist over a business more than anything, because this is what I love to do. This is what I've been doing. It's my passion, and I want to make sure, try to spread that as much as possible. So my goal in life is to affect you guys with MTS, multiple tank syndrome, because really there's so much of this stuff that gets imported, and so much room for other breeders and whatnot. And I want to show you guys that it's not that hard. You don't need a whole lot, and for me to do bad business and sell you guys diseases just would not be good. So once again, better
now
safe than
this
sorry.
is the latest section I recently added, was these 20 highs. I believe there's 30 of them. I was gonna have, this is rainbow row kinda, and then I was gonna have this as my quarantine section and just like stuff that comes out of the pond and all that stuff. And I decided that that would be kinda halfway doing it, and why not turn this into just stuff I breed out and turn this into rainbow row. Go all in, tons of rainbows, tons of fish to breed out, and that, and you shouldn't have your quarantine in with like your other tanks, because I have heard things can be airborne and get jump tank to tank just from like spores and mist and stuff like that. I figured this may be enough space, but you know, after doing all this, I don't want to risk it. And so now I'm going to put the new quarantine. Oh, real quick tip for you guys too. When you do these tanks and you don't want to do substrate or something, paint the bottom black. That way the fish won't see their reflection so much and won't spook them. Makes a difference. Got that from Eric Bodrock.
Now here's where I plan on putting the new quarantine section. Now I haven't really quite figured out how many tanks. I know I'm going to go with 20 highs on this again as well. Just not sure how many and the configuration of it yet. But this is the spot it's going to be in. Pardon the mess, there's Sparky meowing. I was in survival mode and my 2-year-old does what 2-year-olds do. And this is pretty much his arena. But anyways, just let him do his thing. But I'm going to end up moving this 180 down here into the foyer. I'm going to end up putting it in between here. It fits perfectly right between there. So when you first walk in the front door, you'll see the big 180 there. I think that'll be really cool to have when you first walk in. Still need to reseal and all that stuff. And I think the flukes ended up coming from outside. So all the outdoor fish will end up going into the QT and everything now, which will just make life better. But this thing needs resealed and everything too, and so that'll be a little mission. But anyways, I gotta get it out of the way. I want to put that quarantine here, and I don't know, probably do some tanks up top since my 2-year-old's in here all the time. Maybe go up so high so he can't really fuss with them. He's real good with the tanks, but when I'm not around, you never know, and 2-year-olds will do what 2-year-olds do, so better safe than sorry on that too. I just don't want to make it top heavy, so gotta figure that out. As I said in the beginning, I may be a little paranoid for doing all this, and it may be a little bit of overkill since Flukes was the only thing really found and really saw any kind of issue with. But for me, these tanks have been going for a long time. I'm not really planning on bringing anything new in for a while, so it's kind of like a blank slate in it and just starting fresh since I got the new RO system and all that. Yeah, it's the beginning of a new era, and I am so stoked about it, completely stoked about it. Like I said, my fish room's in kind of a teenage phase. This is kind of like the next step level to bring it past that, and super excited about it. So after this, I'll have that quarantine section going, and it'll be a month before a fish can even think about entering. A month after signs of pure health. So if it's sick, you'll even have to go past that in my new QT if I'm getting something new. Same with shrimp and same with the plants. So now I'll have that all separated, whole fish room clean. I mean, it should make for an awesome year next year, that's for sure. And I'm totally stoked about it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys may have learned something. And like, share, all that jazz. I don't usually ask you, but hey, those shares are nice too. Like, especially, I mean, no pressure. But anyways, guys, till next time, peace.